This morning, my son's private school slid me a notarized consent with my signature and told me my husband, the man with a driver and a donor calendar, had already taken our 11-year-old to LAX. They don't look worried. The iPad does the talking. Authorized pickup. The paper is already in my hands, stamp, seal, and my slanted E on the signature line. My married name. Permission I don't remember giving. A uniformed guard shifts one step, not touching me, just stopping me. Behind the glass, the office stays polite. So why today? And who set this up so everyone obeys? Stellan won't answer. My screen lights up with the itinerary. LAX, departing. This isn't kidnapping the way people imagine it. It's kidnapping with paperwork. And once a plane leaves, a boarder won't care what I meant. If I call the police, my son becomes a case file. If I race to the airport, I'm chasing my own child on stolen consent. This is how my son vanished behind a school's authorized screen. If you've ever trusted a form, you know how fast it can replace a person. 40 minutes earlier, I pull up to the private school curb like it's any other weekday. Black coat, hair pinned into a low bun, keys in my hand, my wedding ring still meaning what I thought it meant. Inside, the front office smells of toner and citrus cleaner. The counter is polished stone. The glass is thick. The signage is tasteful in the way that tells you nothing here is meant to feel urgent. I give Cato's name to the administrator, roll only, without raising my voice. He glances at the iPad and her hand pauses above the screen. A small pause, one tap. She looks back at me with practiced neutrality. "I'm sorry," she says, and turns the screen toward me. Authorized pickup, on file. Of course it does. In rooms like this, a screen outranks a mother. I swallow once and keep my face flat. There's a mistake, I tell her. She doesn't argue. She reaches under the counter and slides a document toward me, crisp and official. Notary stamp. And my signature, my slanted E, cleanly placed where my consent is supposed to live. "Your husband picked him up," she says. "He left campus about an hour ago. They're headed to LAX." I don't shout. I lift my phone and start taking photos. I lift my phone and take a photo of the signature line and the stamp, then the iPad screen, then the pickup time. My hands stay steady through the first photo. "What notary verified this?" I ask. "It's recorded," she answers, careful now. A security officer steps closer, not aggressive, just positioned. That's when I understand what I'm up against. Not a man running. A system holding the door open for him. I call Stellan as I walk back into the sun. No answer. Again, no answer. In the car, the itinerary lights up. LAX, departing. It's already moving. My thumb stoles over two numbers. I call the private car service, not 911. It's not courage. It's calculation. Police turn children into evidence, and in worlds like mine, where names move faster than truth, evidence gets managed. In the back seat, I flatten the consent against my thigh and stare at my signature until it stops looking like mine. The ring on my left hand catches light. I turn it inward, the way you do when you don't want something to show. I call the school again, because I need them to be accountable to their own record. "Read it back," I say. "Exactly what the log says." The administrator doesn't argue. She hides inside phrasing. "Authorized pickup, confirmed." "By who?" "Authorization on file." The words are smooth. That's the problem. Smooth means practiced. "Email me the packet on file," I tell her. There's a pause, policy rearranging itself around fear of the wrong person. We'll have our records team follow up. Now, I say. And note that I asked. I end the call before she can find a nicer way to refuse me. At LAX, everything bright is a threat. Glass, white floors, people moving with purpose that has nothing to do with my child. I don't run. I move fast and quiet, the way you do when you know cameras exist. In a carpeted corridor that smells like money pretending to be calm, I see Stellan. He's immaculate in a charcoal suit, hair neat, expression set to neutral. He looks like a man arriving for a meeting, not a father about to leave the country with a sick child. And beside him is Cato, 11, backpack on, fingers locked around the strap like it's a handle on reality. His face is quiet, but his eyes have that tired edge again. Something too old for a kid who still has homework in his bag. Cato, I say, just his name. His gaze lifts, and relief crosses his face fast. Then he tries to hide it. He's learned how adults behave under pressure. From us. Stellan steps half a pace, not blocking me fully, just shaping the space. Not here, he says. 2 words, calm enough to sound reasonable. I hold up the consent. The notary stamp is dark. My signature is darker. You used my name, I say. You used my hand. His eyes flick down to the paper like it's a tool. I used what we had. What we had? I keep my voice low because I refuse to give strangers a scene. Why today? What is this? And who made the school obey you? His watch glints when his wrist tilts. He doesn't look at it. He doesn't have to. We don't have time for this in public, he says. Public. He says it like a warning. He doesn't fear the police. He fears witnesses. I glance at Cato. He's standing very still, conserving himself. I can call airport security. I can say the word kidnapping out loud and let procedures swallow my child whole. Or I can stay close. Stellan's voice drops another degree. If you stop me here, he says, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I hate that he says it without drama, like a forecast. Cato's small voice cuts through us. Mom? That's it. That's the hook in my chest. Not fear for myself, fear that my next choice will be the one he remembers forever. So I fold the consent until my signature disappears, and I step closer to my son. I'm coming, I tell him. Not permission. Strategy. Stellan turns toward the gate, and I follow them, already inside his timeline. Geneva doesn't greet you, it checks you in. At the hospital entrance, there are doors that only open after scans. Signs that tell you where to stand. A sync station with diagrams like, obedience is a health measure. A coordinator in scrubs meets us with a tablet. Passports, she says. And the consent. Stellan hands it over with the ease of a man who prepared weeks ago. The paper moves from his fingers to hers like a baton in a relay I never agreed to run. And you are? She asks me. The question doesn't come with malice. That makes it worse. It comes with indifference. Eulalie, I answer. His mother. She prints a temporary badge for me anyway. Name, barcode, access. It lands on my chest like a decision made without me. Cato gets a wristband. The plastic clicks shut around his small wrist. He looks away. In the intake room, the attending physician, roll only, white coat, tired eyes, speaks plainly. No softened. Edges. Your son's blood cancer has relapsed, he says. Without treatment, we're talking months, not years. Months. The word sits in the room like an object. Heavy, unmovable. Stellan doesn't flinch. He says, "We're here for the intake window." The coordinator turns her tablet toward him. I lean in and read it myself because I don't trust anyone else's summary. Intake window, 1400 to 1600. Today, 2 hours. Not for comfort, for access. The doctor continues, careful with language the way hospitals are careful when they refuse to promise. Response rates are low, he says. Some children respond, some don't. Stellan nods like this is a market he understands. Some men can't hear fear unless it comes with percentages. I look at Cato. Hoodie up now. Wristband catching the light. He's watching faces, not words, because faces tell the truth faster. What does it feel like? I ask the doctor. For him. The doctor's eyes move to Cato. His voice lowers. It can be hard, he says. We manage pain. We monitor closely. And if the attempt hurts him faster than the illness? I ask. The doctor doesn't look away. That's a possibility, he says. The honesty lands hard. Money didn't buy certainty, just a chance to be told, maybe. I turn back to the tablet. If we miss the window, I ask, what happens? The doctor answers immediately. You lose the slot, he says. Another child takes it. We can put him on the wait list. Another child. Another family. Another name on a line that gets to decide who is seen. We're moved into a hospital-adjacent suite that looks like a hotel wearing a white coat. Stone floors, minimalist furniture, fruit bowl that nobody touches. Cato curls into the sofa with a blanket and a puzzle booklet. Stellan loosens his tie and kneels to tie Cato's sneaker laces with careful fingers. Cato lets him. For a second, my hate gets complicated by the fact that Stellan is a father before he is my husband. Then Stellan stands again, and the suit returns. I lay the hospital printout and consent on the marble table, not tossed, placed. Say it, I tell him. Say what you did. He doesn't pretend. I didn't tell you because you would have slowed it down. There it is. Not an accident, a philosophy. You thought I'd slow down my child's chance to live? My voice stays low. My hands don't. I thought you'd insist on doing it the right way, he says. And the right way takes time. I tap the consent once. The sound is small against marble. You had time to plan this, I say. You had time to make the school obey. You had time for everything except telling me. His gaze holds mine. I had time to plan, he says. Not time to convince you. Somewhere behind us, Cato's pencil pauses. He's listening. Children always do. While Stellan handles calls, I go where the system stores truth. Records. I ask the patient advocate, role only, for the hospital's scanned copy of the consent package. She prints it without judgment. At a window alcove, I smooth the pages and look closer than I looked at anything in my own house for months. The margins don't match. The header font shifts. There's a faint shadow line where a scan caught an edge that shouldn't exist. A seam. I text the school. Send the packet page with my signature that you have on file. A secure link arrives. No apology, just compliance. I open the PDF. Routine acknowledgements, emergency contact, a signature line at the bottom. My slanted E, Crowhurst. The handwriting matches because it's mine. I hold my phone next to the hospital printout, and the mechanism becomes obvious. They didn't need to forge my signature. They needed to attach it. I didn't consent, I just signed. The air in my chest turns cold. Not panic. Clarity. Back in the suite, I place the packet printout under the hospital scan so Stellan can't pretend it's interpretation. That's how you did it, I say. He looks down. He sees the seam, the match, the proof. And still, he goes to justification first. Every hour matters, he says. Every hour comes out of him. You turned marriage into procedure, I answer. You turned motherhood into an obstacle. He steps closer, eyes steady. I would do it again, he says. No heat, no regret. Just certainty. Cato's pencil slips from his fingers and taps stone. Stellan crosses the room, picks it up, and puts it back in Cato's hand with a gentleness that doesn't belong in the same body as that sentence. Cato looks at us. Are we okay? He asks. He isn't asking about vows. He's asking whether his world is stable enough to stand on. I make my face smooth. We're here with you, I tell him. Stellan adds, we're getting you help. 2 parents, 1 goal, no shared trust. We move through the hospital corridors toward intake, badges scanning, doors opening, hands sanitizing. The machine accepts what it accepts. At the unit, the coordinator is waiting, tablet held close, eyes trained. She checks the wall clock. It's after 4. We're here, Stellan says, already offering the folder like money can negotiate minutes. I'm sorry, she says, and the apology is real. You didn't arrive in time for required intake. Stellan's jaw tightens. We were in the building. The clearance sequence is part of intake, she answers. We need labs within the window. We can't proceed outside it. The slot has been reassigned, she adds, after one clean scroll on her screen. Another child was scheduled behind you. I feel my mouth open. No sound comes out. I close it and nod like I understood, because falling apart won't move the clock backward. The coordinator prints a sheet and slides it across the counter. Waitlist placement, official fonts, a new kind of sentence. It's the same motion as the school, the same calm, different cruelty. Stellan stares at the paper like he can buy it into changing. I keep my eyes on the line item and understand the worst part. The system obeyed him when he used my signature. Now it refuses both of us without emotion. We walk back slower. Cato's steps drag. Stellan's suit stays perfect. My ring stays on. Nothing looks ruined. But nothing is safe either. That night, Cato sleeps on the sofa in the suite, hoodie still up, blanket around his shoulders. His chest rises and falls in small, steady movements. I sit across from him and watch it like it's the only honest thing in the room. On the marble table, my badge, the creased consent, the waitlist sheet. Paperwork that told everyone what to do with us. I stand and walk to the quiet room down the hall. It's dim, neutral. One chair. No performance, no audience. I sit. My hands open on my lap. The ring leaves a faint indent in my skin when my fingers relax. I didn't know who I was talking to. I just needed someone money couldn't reach to step in. It doesn't fix anything. It steadies my hands. The next day, the call comes. Unknown extension. There has been a change, the coordinator says. An opening. You have 90 minutes to get here. 90 minutes. Mercy scheduled. Not a miracle. A window with edges. Somewhere, another family lost theirs. I don't ask for details. I don't want the image. The weight is already in my throat. We move as a unit for Cato, not healed, not gentle, just aligned by necessity. Badges scan, doors open. The machine gives us one more chance. At the desk, the tray of forms appears again, the same cheap pen. Stellan reaches for it out of reflex. I place my hand on the paper first, not to block him, to reclaim the act. I read the first paragraph, then the next. My eyes move line by line. The coordinator waits. I sign. My slanted E, my surname, my choice. Cato's fingers curl around mine. He doesn't understand waitlists. He understands that my hand is here. Months later, he's back in his school sweater. He argues about homework. He laughs once at breakfast, quiet, experimental. And I turn toward the window so he won't see my face change. Stellan is still Stellan. Schedules, confirmations, plans shaped like apologies. I should have told you, he says one morning, and the sentence dies before it becomes anything useful. I set a folder on the counter between us. Clean directives, clean margins, no seams. Custody and medical decisions spelled out in language that doesn't pretend love is a substitute for consent. I slide it toward him the way the school slid the consent toward me. His eyes drop. He knows what paper can do. You're leaving, he says. I'm separating, I correct. We can co-parent. We can coordinate. But I won't live inside a marriage where my consent is treated as optional. You're punishing me, he says, quiet. I'm protecting myself, I answer. There's a difference. When Cato leaves the room, the refrigerator hum becomes loud. I twist my ring slowly, then slide it off and set it beside the folder. No speeches, no collapse, just a small circle of metal on stone. I pick up the pen, finish signing the last page, and close the folder. My hand is steady, and it's mine. In the end, my son lived. The marriage didn't. If you want the full version, the entire paper trail, the airport confrontation, and what Geneva cost hour by hour, it's on the end screen now. Give me your verdict in the comments. Was it love? Or control wearing love's clothes? This is American Billionaire Tales, where fortune meets fate.